Okay, so back on October 10th, Trump and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, brokered a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. And I don't know if you've seen all the headlines about this, but whether it's mainstream media or the Prophecy Christian YouTube channels, everybody's talking about this peace deal like it's the fulfillment of the book of Daniel chapter 9, or maybe some other parts of the book of Revelation. But people are really blowing this out of proportion. I want to talk about it. You have Grace Digital Network, who, as you can see here, is saying the media is calling this peace deal historic. And, you know, this video in particular got over almost 1 million views, basically, from 4 days ago. And everybody has basically bought into the media hype of Kushner and Trump passing some sort of a peace deal that may last 3.5 years. It may last 7 years. And again, to be fair, though, I think it was Sling and Stone who reported on this first back on October 8th. But the point is this, okay? Everybody's talking about a peace deal between Israel and Hamas. And when you actually look at what's inside the peace agreement, these 20 points that Kushner and Trump have laid out for this peace agreement, including the complete demilitarization of Hamas, them handing over all their weapons, and all these other ridiculous demands, it's just not even realistic. It's a complete farce. It's a complete joke of a peace deal. It's not a peace deal. In fact, Israel has already broken the ceasefire. It was reported by Common Dreams that just yesterday, I'm up a little bit late filming this, but just yesterday, October 14th, you already had Israel killing 9 in Gaza. And the title of this article is "You Cease, I Fire." And Israel even admits, hey, we'll break this whole ceasefire if you don't meet all of our terms. And the terms, like I said, they're very specific. They're very ridiculous. And what it really is, and I've looked at this from different angles, from actual geopolitical analysts, whether they're former military or whatever. Like, there's a lot of good news out there. People that are more informed than your average Christian prophecy channel, that's for sure. They're saying that this is just a temporary stop, pause to catch the breath and rearm Israel to get ready to go to war with Iran, which I have been telling you here on the channel forever that that's exactly what's about to happen, that Iran and Israel are going to go back at it. Of course, Iran's going to emerge victorious, and all this smoke and mirrors of a peace deal, and everybody's buying into this hype. It's just, that's exactly what it is. That's why I'm taking a time, like I said, I'm up a little bit late. That's why I'm taking a moment to address this nonsense. And I want to show you something from Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 7. It says, "Even the stork in the heavens knows her appointed times, and the turtle dove, the swift, and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people do not know the judgment of the Lord." And that's exactly what we are expecting. I'm telling you, and I'm going to remind you of a couple things here as we go through this quick video. So make sure you're subscribed, like this video, share it. I'm Abraham. Let's get into more of the analysis. Time, again, just to reiterate, mainstream Western media has really propped up this whole idea that the Trump administration has sealed the deal in peace. Gaza, this ceasefire deal. And Kushner, who's not even like an official part of the cabinet, doesn't have an official role. He's just so instrumental. It's so amazing. Trump gets up there talking to the parliament in Israel, the Knesset, and he's like, yes, oh, it's so amazing. My daughter converted to Judaism, and you know, my grandchildren are half Jewish and all this other stuff. It's just this big, it's just ridiculous, flowery speech that he gives in Israel over this, again, ridiculous, preposterous ceasefire that's really just a pause for both the United States and Israel to arm up against Iran, which is about to commence pretty much any time. And even the BBC, you know, so other outlets are coming out saying, hey, look, this is not a roadmap to peace. Now, here's the big news. Here's what Fox News reported, that U.S. military is to oversee the next phase of the peace deal from coordination base in Israel. Now, check this out. Okay, they're getting us ready. They're gearing us up. They're getting us used to the idea of boots on the ground in Israel, see? And this is what it says. This article, just posted yesterday. Sources tell Fox News that all 200 U.S. troops had arrived in Israel by Tuesday night, just this week, and will operate out of a base in Israel. And additionally, a U.S. military C-17 transport plane packed with command and control equipment and supplies arrived Tuesday. So we have, just yesterday, we're already seeing a troop buildup in Israel. And I'm telling you, that's what we need to be looking at right before the Great Tribulation begins. I've been telling you this is something to keep your eye on, because Ezekiel chapter 22, I've talked about it here on the channel before. Ezekiel 22 has never happened. That Silver Dross prophecy has never happened in history, where the house of Israel is gathered into Jerusalem to be judged. Okay, house of Israel is a very specific phrase. If you want to go check that out, I made another video about that topic in way more detail, but I'm not going to get into it here. I'm just saying one of the big signs before the Great Tribulation begins, we should be seeing some sort of a troop buildup of Western forces inside of Israel, and we're starting to see that. Like, I had been talking about this since 2022. This exact thing from Ezekiel 22 and the Silver and Dross prophecy, I've been talking about this since 2022, that we should be expecting military forces, Western forces, to build up in Israel, specifically in Jerusalem, before the Great Tribulation begins. Now, so that's what's really going on, right? So this peace deal, all this nonsense, we have so much prophecy on the table. We know that the Great Tribulation begins with Jerusalem. We know Iran's going to make their move. We understand these things here in this channel. Again, download Bible Prophecy Secrets. If a lot of what I just said didn't make sense, download Bible Prophecy Secrets. There's a link in the description below. Go check that out. But see, so everybody's saying peace, peace, peace. Jared and Trump are like the Antichrist. One of them is, maybe we know the Antichrist. Maybe now we know who it is, because these guys are ushering in peace deals. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing. Well, all you have to do is just look at this objectively, without any bias or brainwashing from, all these just false views of end times from all these novels like Left Behind, or all these different worldviews that have been pushed on mainstream Christians for such a long time now. Just get past all that and just take a look objectively at what's going on. You have so much stuff. We have nuclear-capable missiles possibly being shipped to Ukraine right now. I'm going to show you an article in just a second, but let's just go a little bit further south, okay, in the Western Hemisphere, and you have the United States wanting to overthrow Nicolas Maduro's what they call a regime, his presidency, however you want to call it, however you want to refer to it. They want to topple this guy because he's apparently this big-time drug lord. And this is insane, because you have a Republican senator from Florida named Rick Scott on live TV today on Fox News saying, yeah, we need to topple Maduro. And look at what he says and how he says it. Okay, check this out.
I think if Maduro's smart, he's going to go ahead and move to Russia or China, someplace like that, because his days are numbered. The public of Venezuela don't want him. They rejected him in the last election. He stole the election. He's a dictator. He's a drug cartel leader. So his days are numbered. However they do it, I look forward to the day that he's no longer in Venezuela. He'll be great for the world.
Rick Scott's claim here, and of course this is the State Department, this is Pam Bondi, this is everybody, right? This is the Trump administration. They're saying, yeah, Nicolas Maduro is an illegitimate president and all this and that. Well, I just want to point your attention to, just a couple weeks after Maduro was reelected in 2024. I have been covering this actually here on the channel. I did a couple live streams about Venezuela and how the U.S. just wants the oil. But Venezuela, this is from the Times of Israel, Venezuela's Maduro blames international Zionism. So he blames international Zionism for unrest after the disputed vote. Now, look, I'm not here to say, Maduro had a legitimate or illegitimate election. It's the talking point that matters here. Maduro is actually blaming, or did, international Zionism for the unrest that was caused by his contested election. It was a neck and neck election. There's some kind of weird stuff that happened there, but the point is he's clearly anti-West, right? And he's allying himself with BRICS, as I'm going to show you. Maduro has opposed the Western power structure, and he's not playing ball. And so you have Newsweek coming out saying that the Trump admin is making plans for lethal strikes and CIA deployments in Venezuela for some kind of covert operations. Well, why would that happen? Why am I bringing that to your attention? Like, why is that important? Well, the Hindustan Times also reported on it. Why is the CIA being sent to Venezuela? Like, what are they looking for? And I'm going to tell you right now, there's been a lot of rumors circulating because Putin and Maduro have been getting very, very close. Of course, any sanctioned country, any country that America sanctions or puts tariffs on, they're just going to become buddies with other countries that are also basically being bullied around by America. And so you have Putin and Maduro, a while ago, they had been making deals, meeting up, in the Kremlin and these types of things. But you have an agreement, a strategic partnership between Russia and Venezuela that it's now in effect. I mean, it's a 10-year agreement for energy, for infrastructure, for military defense, right? So there are rumors circulating, and obviously we can't really confirm these things maybe right now. Maybe someone has, I don't know. There's other people probably that have, closer ties to the intel or whatever you want to call it. But what makes sense is clearly there's something that Russia has possibly moved there to Venezuela, including but not limited to nuclear weapons. It's very possible. It's likely. And maybe that's why the U.S. actually wants to go in and overthrow Maduro, have regime change, cut off ties to Russia. I mean, there's a bigger reason than just drugs. Okay, there's a bigger reason than just drugs. And why now, right? Because the U.S. has already been sending tons and tons of weapons and munitions to Ukraine. It's been sending billions of dollars to Israel to open up a third war front, right? Which the U.S. basically already kind of has in Venezuela, at least off the coast, It doesn't make any sense except that there's a real threat, there's a real problem. But of course, these things aren't going to make their way into the mainstream news because, part of any regime, any power structure, any governmental power structures, they need to make sure people are nice and quiet and peaceful and not panic buying. And, you can't have your country in complete chaos. But something really big is going on in Venezuela. We could say, yes, it has to do with the U.S. wanting the Venezuelan oil. But it could be also that there's definitely weapons that Russia's putting there. Something's going on with Russia and Maduro, clearly. But see, so we have kind of this fake ceasefire peace deal nonsense that everybody's hyping up, and the Western media hyped it up, and all these prophecy people are just like, oh my gosh, this is the Antichrist. So you have all that nonsense going on over there in the Middle East. You have the U.S. positioning soldiers and equipment and blowing boats out of the water over there in Venezuela. And that's not going anywhere. That's not going away. They want regime change. You literally just heard it from a senator. But then you have just this week, right? During the Sukkot week, you have some of these developments. But what you have is Tomahawks missiles they're talking about sending them to Ukraine. This is from The Hill. The Hill is reporting that, yes, the United States is going to probably start sending these. Trump, I'm not sure if Trump's given the full green light yet, but that's basically what it's looking like. The talk is there. Yes, we're going to send Tomahawks. And the mainstream media is kind of saying, oh, it's no big deal. It's just going to be a few. It's not really going to make a big difference. But it's hilarious because when you just listen to actual geopolitical analysts that have been studying this stuff for decades, you know that the Tomahawks that Trump is getting ready to send, they're nuclear capable. Not only that, they have a very long range that makes it a very real threat for Russia when it comes to oil refineries, energy infrastructure, and all these other things. Because what on the surface, what mainstream media is saying that U.S. wants to do is they want to pressure Moscow into negotiating, but all this is doing is just escalating the world closer and closer and closer to nuclear World War III. I'm not the only one to say that. Again, here's the article from The Hill. You literally, even The Hill is telling you here, Russia has said the introduction of Tomahawk missiles would further escalate the conflict, which has been ongoing for roughly 3.5 years. Russia's former president, Dmitry Medvedev, warned this week that potentially supplying Tomahawk missiles to Kiev could end badly for everyone. And of course, you have Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko saying that, yeah, this is going to escalate the conflict into a nuclear war. So all this nonsense about a peace deal in the Middle East, peace deal. No. You have 3 war fronts. You have Israel, Hamas, Iran, of course, and then the Houthis haven't gone anywhere. Lebanon hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, you have Syria. You have Jolani. Apparently, he's siding with BRICS and Russia, and there's some stuff going on there I don't have time to really cover. But the Middle East is still on fire. You have Venezuela something's going on there with a strategic partnership with Maduro and Putin that the West doesn't like, and they're just using the drugs as the smoke screen from which to do some sort of preemptive strikes and boots on the ground. You already have CIA there, and then I forgot to mention you have troop buildup in the United States. You have a troop buildup of U.S. soldiers in Israel, which is the fulfillment of Ezekiel 22, and then you have another escalatory phase in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict where the United States is sending nuclear-capable missiles. Now, not all of them are nuclear, right? I mean, they could just be conventional Tomahawks, but there are nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles the cruise missiles that could be shot. So they have to be treated as such. The threat has to be treated as such by Russia. They just don't know what they're dealing with. I mean, if you shoot one out of the sky, is it going to be nuclear and have a mushroom cloud in the middle of the countryside of Russia? I mean, wherever they're shooting these things, I mean, this is so insane. There's no peace deal, and clearly, the mainstream media hype from all the normie kind of channels out there is fooling a lot of people. But overcome Babylon with me here, because we're not fooled by this type of rhetoric. You guys know the end game. You guys know where this is headed. So God bless you. Subscribe and share this video.